Change comes to the SEC as the SEC will go to a 9-game conference schedule. It begins not 10 years from now, next season, and it will certainly change the way that college football schedules are lined up. And the biggest winners, I think, in all of this are the most important people in all of college football. The fans. The fans now lose one game that didn't mean anything, one game where your team was going to absolutely steamroll another team. And you are going to, if you are a paying customer, you're going to get at least an opponent that is supposed to be a quality opponent. And who knows, every now and then might be one of the big timers coming on your schedule now because of the 9 games every team in the SEC has to play within the conference.
So, yeah, I tend to disagree a little bit. So I'm going to use Georgia as an example. So Georgia's going to have a 9-game conference schedule. They're always going to have Georgia Tech. Mm-hmm. There's your 10 games. They're not playing anybody else. So I would assume this 2026 game against Louisville might be up for, well, maybe not the 2026 game, but the year after that when they're at Florida State and then they play Louisville, one of those 2 games is going away, if not both of them. You're not playing both of those teams in the same year. You're a Georgia fan. You got a chance to go to Doak Campbell Stadium. That was going to be awesome. I don't know that sticks around. Then you were supposed to have Florida State come to town the following year. That's the point that I have. Like, yeah, you're going to get another SEC game. Might be Mississippi State. Might be Vandy. Might be Kentucky. Those games aren't wet in the whistle.
But that's one game.
Might be Texas A&M.
Right,
might be anybody.
Right.
Might
could be
when
Alabama.
have you played Texas A&M in all these years?
Yeah, I know, but that's the kind of the fun thing for me is it's going to rotate. And at some point, you're going to see them on the schedule and plan a trip and be able to see them finally.
Kentucky will see Alabama. So it'll be one of those things. Arkansas might get a chance to see Texas. Mm-hmm. So
every SEC school is going to play every other SEC school within the 4 years. You're going to get a home and away. And to Michael's point, no, we have not been to A&M yet, but they have come here once.
Right. So I'm just looking down their future schedule. 2030, they were supposed to play Clemson and Ohio State at UGA. Those games aren't happening. And I guess this is the college football purist in me. College football purist in me lived on games like this. Like your conference games were fine, but I love seeing Big Ten against the SEC. I love seeing Pac-12, the old Pac-12 coming to the SEC. And I guess where we're going to get that now and where I've got to wrap my brain around this, what we're going to get now is your college football playoff is where you're going to see these games. You're not going to see them in the regular season anymore. You're going to see your conference, you're going to see Georgia Tech, and then you're probably going to see 2 grab-ass teams.
Well, I think there's still a chance for one bigger game. To your point of the Florida State scenario, yeah, you miss out on that, and that would have been an experience for that group of kids that go down there. But if your year comes up and Alabama or Texas or Georgia is coming in and they would not have been on the schedule, I think that's a good way. It will be the same teams within your conference, but because you don't play them or hadn't played them on a regular basis, I think that's something that could be a chance for a bigger bang for the buck for the people who actually go into the games. And, maybe a chance for new rivalries. When I was looking at that mock setup that they put out a couple of years ago of the locked-in traditional rivals, and Georgia had Auburn, they had Florida, and they had Kentucky. Why not make it Alabama? Why is Kentucky? It looks like a new rivalry is starting. Yeah. Why not make it Alabama and Georgia every year?
1-8, 1-9, wherever that record was.
Yeah. Well, how about Tennessee?
That's what I'm saying. It's a thing now. So what does Kentucky do for you?
Well, there's only so many. I mean, you can only do 3 schools.
Sure.
So it can only go around so many.
Correct.
You've named 5, I think, within this last few minutes.
Well, let me start
Alabama, Tennessee,
settle down.
South Carolina.
Let me start over.
Is a rival.
He gave you 3.
I'll speak slowly so you can understand. That's my fault.
Oh.
What I said.
I'm not your voice to text. You don't have to speak that slowly.
I'll speak slowly so that you can understand. The mock 3 games that you were locked in for the Georgia Bulldogs a couple of years ago was Kentucky, was Florida, and was Auburn. I think 2 of those 3 are pretty good because of the historic rivalries. I don't think the Kentucky-Georgia game going away would break the hearts and souls of Georgia fans. So my point is, whoever it is, if it's Texas, if it's Alabama, if it's whoever, maybe you can create one new rivalry with this opportunity with 9
Maybe
games.
not Alabama.
I would not do Alabama. I would not do
Texas is one right now that
South
is
Carolina?
a hot one.
Yeah. Texas and Georgia. We own them right now.
What are the first two you said?
Auburn and Florida. They can't go anywhere.
Yeah, so those are locked in. I mean, world's largest outdoor cocktail party, Deep South's oldest rivalry.
That's
sure.
So you're looking for the third.
So who would you rather see as a Georgia fan? Do you want a run-of-the-mill, middling, what do you say?
Vanderbilt.
Right. Exactly. That's my point. You don't want to see Alabama and Texas every single year.
So then what are we doing?
My thought was Tennessee because of the rivalry there.
Trust me, when you live in Augusta, where I'm from, that South Carolina rivalry is real big as well.
So there you go. Maybe it could be South Carolina. That would be good. You know, some memorable Georgia, South Carolina games if you want to dip back into the past. But my point is the opportunity for new rivalries do exist. And now at least one of the grabby games that don't mean anything, that's just an automatic win, is not competition, is not good for TV. You know, you do get a game where you could win or you could lose, but it still would be a better game overall now that you go to 9 games. And now the losers are going to be the grabby teams, those teams that were coming in, getting $1 million, you know, funding the program. That's going to hurt them. So the business of college football or the back end is going to hurt a lot of programs as well.
It'll be very interesting to see the Villanovas of the world who've traveled to Penn State. Mm-hmm. They go this year in week 2 or 3. Yeah. They went like 2 or 3 years ago as well. And that is an absolute money grab.
100%.
And they need it, and they can't survive without it.
Well, you know what this does? This, to me, opens up the potential for spring games to be different. You want to do your money game? All right, Georgia played Georgia Southern or Georgia State. We're going to do a scrimmage there, and we'll pay you $800,000 to come there. That to me is where you could potentially change that, because those games are going to go away. This also falls right in line with what happened yesterday. We didn't get, or 2 days ago, we didn't get a lot of time yesterday to talk about the change in the way that they're going to weight strength of schedule for the college football playoff. Well, you know how you have a better strength of schedule? You play in your own conference. And you know who's going to change probably in about an hour? The ACC, because they're the only Power 4 left that only has 8 conference games. They're going to have to fall in line. So there's a couple of steps to this. Number one, the SEC does this obviously to position themselves to get what they want with the college football playoffs. What they want with the college football playoffs is 5 conference champion, 11 at-larges. The biggest sticking point with them in the Big Ten was the conference schedule. Now you've done to that. Now, all of a sudden, when you put together another conference game, your strength of schedule and the way that the College Football Playoff Committee is weighting it leans your way. Right. What could that mean? Maybe you get 5 or 6 teams in the College Football Playoffs. Right,
and now a team like Illinois, who has 2 ranked teams on their schedule and might go 10-2 or whatever it is, may not get into the playoff because of that strength of schedule.
So they need to win one more game. They need to be 11-1 and step it up. SEC teams will be required to still schedule at least one additional high-quality non-conference from the ACC, Big 10, or Big 12, or Notre Dame. So Notre Dame is thrown in as one of the big boys.
That will be Georgia, Georgia Tech, Louisville, Kentucky, South Carolina, Clemson. So the ones that don't have them will have to find them.
And SEC, ACC rivalry week will be preserved. So there are some things that are locked in, but there are some changes as you're going to have more SEC teams coming in.